Hello, I'm Colleen Pearl the Cool Crone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be the January Tarotscope for the sign of Capricorn. Okie dokie, Capricorn. I've got your cards shuffled and laid out. I've got week 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 oracle cards, and let's get going. So the first week in January, Capricorn starts out with the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands shows a person who is looking out, waiting for his ships to come in, looking out over the property that he owns, and deciding where he is going to take his ventures next. So you may be planning for the future, Capricorn. You may be looking into possible partnerships, possible franchises, as it were, of whatever business you're doing. You may be looking at expanding your business into other lands. There's a lot of possibilities with this card coming up in the beginning of January, Capricorn, and you're open to all of it. The next card that we see is the Seven of Pentacles, and this is the card of needing to wait until your harvest comes in. So just like all things in nature, you can't pick the fruit until it's ripe. You can't harvest the crop until it's mature. So you have to wait a little bit, Capricorn. You may have something that's in the pipeline. It hasn't quite come to fruition yet. When it comes to fruition, that's the time that you can use it, and meaning that you can, sell it, market it, advertise it, make more of it, whatever, but you can't do anything until you see that first crop come to fruition. So you do need to use a little patience, Capricorn, in this first week of January, because it's the beginning of the new year and you want to get a jump on things, but you can't get a jump on nature. The third card for the first week in January is the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is a witty man. He's an elegant man. He's really good with words, but he's a master at his game. So if you're trying to negotiate with somebody at this level, you better come with your weapons out. He is going to talk you around the table, back and under it, and upside down and back to Tuesday. This is a man who understands what yes and no mean, but he also understands that there's a whole bunch of verbiage that can go on around those two words before one comes to any kind of a deal. So if you are looking to negotiate and to enrich or enlarge your organization in some way, two things have to happen. First of all, your crop needs to be actually ready to sell. And second of all, you need to at least know and have an idea of what is possible. You need to have an idea of what's possible before you even start negotiating with this man, because like I said, he's going to talk rings around you, and before you know it, he's going to own your whole business. So be careful with the negotiations the first week in January, Capricorn. The second week, Capricorn, we have either the ending or a beginning or both of a new cycle. So you could be ending up a cycle where your crop comes into fruition, and then you're starting a whole new venture. And that could be really, really beneficial for you. So perhaps these talks went great with the King of Swords, and it did result in you starting a whole new venture. Congratulations to you. The next card that we have is the Six of Swords in reverse. So this is what it looks like upright. And in reverse, it means that you're backtracking. You're not going to leave everything and go on to calmer waters. You're staying where you are. You're staying put. And perhaps you're retooling what it is that you're trying to sell or market or manipulate, but you're certainly not leaving it behind and letting somebody else pick up the spoils at the end of the day. And then we have the Knight of Wands. Now the Knight of Wands is a feisty knight. He's a knight who takes action. He could be a little bit violent, but mainly he wants to take action, and he's in your corner. So this is a knight, probably a fire sign, somebody who really wants to support you and who wants to see you out front. Now you may not be ready to be out front, so you need to explain to this knight that you're not quite there yet. You need him, but you need him like in a month. You don't need him right now. And I'm saying in a month because on January 14th, Mercury is going retrograde until February 3rd. So you're not going to want to have him taking any big overt action until Mercury is direct. So just keep, just stick that under your hat and hang on to that little tidbit of information. So there are people in your corner. There are people who are really, really just itching to advocate for you, to be there for you, to campaign for you, as it were. Now, in the third week of January, we start with a sad note. Somebody has passed on, or they've left your company, or a relationship has split up. And it doesn't necessarily need to be you, Capricorn. It could be somebody else. But I do think it actually is you, as I'm looking at the other cards in this reading. So I think it also could be you that instigates the breakup. And I think it's not a business venture. I think it's a personal relationship. So when this relationship ends, you have to fill the void with something else. And it could be that you had somebody waiting in the wings. So initially, you're going to be seen to just throw yourself into your work and trying to avoid even thinking or talking about this relationship. So this is what people around you are going to see. They're going to see you, the Eight of Pentacles, the craftsperson, the tradesperson who's just working very, very hard at your job and trying to make the business work. But in reality, you've already got a new relationship on the boards, and that relationship means everything to you. It means so much to you. You're willing to really put a lot of things on hold for this relationship. Now, most likely this relationship did not just start in a heartbeat in the third week of January. Most likely there has been a little back and forth in the weeks leading up to this. But I think that Capricorn, being an honest person, you wanted to take care of your then current relationship, end it amicably, and be, polite, be courteous to your partner, because you did respect them and you probably loved them. It's just that this new relationship is so much more dramatic and powerful for you that you couldn't resist it. The top of the fourth week, we have the Hierophant. So there's something stirring in your soul. There's something that you want to explore, and it has to do with your heart. I mean, you have just gone through the ending of something really major in your life, some big decision or some big chapter has closed and another has opened. You had a big loss, and that was probably due to you, but nevertheless, that relationship meant a lot to you, and you're really concerned about your business. And I don't think, Capricorn, you necessarily want to turn into a Scrooge. I think you want to be a well-rounded, balanced person. And that's why you're thinking about the Hierophant. You're thinking about really exploring spiritual matters so that you can have a better work-life balance and so that you can be a more well-rounded individual. So look for, in the fourth week of January, some exploration having to do with your own faith, with your own religion, philosophy, spiritual beliefs, whatever you want to call it, but you're going to be looking at that stuff in the last week of February. And a young person, the Page of Cups, is probably the person who's surprisingly going to give you some information that's really going to help you. The Page of Cups is going to bring you some messages that hit you in your heart, that come right to the matter that you're thinking about. Spirituality, love, all-encompassing love, intuition, romantic love, higher love, cosmic love. So this Page of Cups person for 5 minutes is going to be really important to you in your life. And then once you get it and figure out what path you should be pursuing, you're probably not going to be hanging out with this guy, but he's important for the messages that he brings and for the little tip that he gives you about your spiritual life and where to go with it. And then we have, for the last card in the month of January, we have the Four of Pentacles. And this is usually read as, you're hanging on too much to your money, you need to let go a little bit, you need to understand there are other things in life. In this case, I think that this card is expressing the fullness of Pentacles. So Pentacles is not just money. It's your body, it's your health, it's your values in life, it's your real estate, it's your home. It's all sorts of earthy body type things. So with your newfound interest in spirituality and metaphysics and your success in your business, working things out and having things really work out for you, I think you're going to be feeling like, wow, I have to protect all this. I don't think this is the card of the miser in your reading. I think this is the card of somebody who just sees that what they have means a great deal to them, and they don't want to see their family hurt by you losing it. So I think that's kind of your thinking, Capricorn. And I think that's where you're going to be going with this stuff in the month of January. So that's what I have there. Now let's look at the oracle cards. We've got the top one here is Chiron. And this is an astrology deck by Lily Ashwell, is it? Yeah, Ashwell, very good. I got the name right. Okay, so Chiron is the place in your chart where you have a wound of some kind. It is also where you can experience Christ-like energy, your own connection to the divine, where you understand how you are connected to the divine and how you can express that in everyday life to live a fuller and more meaningful life. Chiron in the wounded aspect shows you where you need to do some work to heal that wound psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and then where you can potentially go on and help other people in their lives heal the same kinds of wounds. And this may involve getting training, certification, education, or just experience in helping people with these kinds of traumas. So Chiron right now is coming up for you, and I believe it is that you are trying to sort of fix your work-life balance, because Capricorn, you have a tendency to really be all in on the business side of things because that's where you feel really comfortable, and then you kind of forget about all the nice, intuitive, artistic, squishy parts of life. And those squishy, artistic, intuitive, sweet parts of life are kind of what makes the world go round. So I wouldn't bypass all of that wonderful stuff. So that's the message from that oracle deck. And then we have another oracle deck, the Everyday Witch Oracle by Deborah Blake. And this oracle card is Go with the Flow. So again, we're talking about work-life balance. You don't always have to be working, and you don't always have to be thinking about work. It's fine for you to take some time and refresh. In fact, it helps you be more productive on the job if you are refreshed. If you just keep trying to crank it out and crank it out and crank it out, pretty much after a while, it's like trying to get blood from a stone. There's nothing left to come out, especially if you're in any kind of work that requires any kind of creativity, which, let's face it, almost all businesses require some kind of creativity because you make the product, right? So unless it's being made on a machine, you need creativity. So go with the flow, and the flow will feed back to you and feed your soul. So feeding your soul is a really important message, I think, for almost every sign in January, Capricorn. Don't feel like you're being singled out. Allow yourself to have some me time. Allow yourself to have a good or better work-life balance, and allow yourself to be off the clock when it comes to 5 o'clock. Okay, that's the reading for you, Capricorn. I'm so glad that you watched the video all the way to the end. I just love doing these videos. I really enjoy them. So thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so grateful for all my subscribers. And I really want to wish you Happy New Year. Have a great January. Leave me some comments and let me know how you liked this reading. Look at some of the other readings too, because I used a bunch of new decks and they're all really, really fun. Watch the one for your sun, your moon, your rising, and then you'll get to see some of those other decks, Capricorn. Okay, take care, and I will see you next time.